Willkommen zurück zu Judgment. Ich hoffe, du bist wieder mit dabei. Und Leute, ratet mal, wohin ich hingelaufen bin. Bevor wir überhaupt mit diesem Video anfangen, lasst ein Abo da, lasst auf jeden Fall eine Bewertung da und schaut mal unten in der Videobeschreibung nach. Und danke für die ganzen Bewertungen, die ihr abgibt. Und ihr fragt euch jetzt, warum soll ich schon jetzt eine Bewertung abgeben? Schaut mal, wer mich gefunden hat. Na, kennt ihr den? Gauner hier. Ja, also lasst eine Bewertung da. Die wurden direkt zusammengeknüppelt, Mann. Leute, ich werde meinen Stil jetzt ändern. Ich kämpfe nicht mit Krani-Stil gegen den. Ich mache Dinger. Und nein, ich habe ihn nicht zufällig gefunden. Natürlich habe ich seine Location YouTube angeschaut. Ich muss aber auf Tiger-Stil gehen. 1 gegen 1. Also das habe ich nicht in YouTube gesehen, aber lieber auf... Oh shit! Alter, nice! Seine Blocks bringen aber nichts. Ich sehe nichts mehr. Ich muss aufpassen, ey. Wie viel Leben hat der? Guck mal, der hat mir mies gegeben gerade. Das darf nicht passieren, Alter. Guck, das meine ich. Ich werde zum Schein, glaube ich. Ich habe nur noch einen Verbandskasten, weil ich für Hamura alles ausgegeben habe. Oh, nice. Jetzt. Jawohl. Oh, hat viel Leben, Moro. Lass ihn nicht hier. Oh mein Gott. Jawohl. Jawohl, Yagami. Jawohl. Schieb ihn, gib ihn, alles. Jawohl. Lass ihn keine Sekunde frei. Wie viel Leben, Moro? Ich habe erst 2. Let's go. Let's go, Yagami, auf was wartest du? Dein Block bringt nichts gegen diesen Stil, Moro. Nein, das hast du jetzt nicht gemacht. Und dann kickt er mich auch noch. Oh mein Gott, der hat übel wenig Leben. Ich könnte den packen. Alter, der hat mehr Leben als alle gehabt gerade, ey. Oh mein Gott, nein, 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 nein. Das war gerade übel knapp, ey. Ich sehe nichts mehr. Jawohl, Alter. Krank. Boah, was war das denn? Wie viel Leben hatte der? Ich bin auch fast am Arsch gewesen. Ich hatte nur einen Verbandskasten.
Hello?
Jawohl, kriege ich die 1,2 Millionen, sagt mir nur das. Leute, ich habe nur die Location von dem Typ angeguckt, also mehr habe ich nicht angeschaut. Aber der Stil, ey, boah, dieser Tiger-Stil. Jawohl, Alter. 1,2 Millionen Yen. Ma fuck. Jawohl, Alter. Jetzt erstmal Dinger. Ich weiß, was ich direkt am... Das erste, was ich machen muss, ist direkt mal heilen gehen. Ne? Und dafür brauche ich meinen Arzt, Alter. Taxi. Was? Wie viel? Ach komm, das ist gar nichts mehr. 1,2 Millionen. Krass, ey. Alter, der war aber eine übel... Ey, der war krass, ey. Das hätte ich jetzt nicht gedacht. Der hatte mehr Leben als Hamura oder die anderen. Ey, Jungs, ich kann gerade nicht. Bitte lasst mich in Ruhe. Ich habe kein Leben, die wollen kämpfen. Wo ist mein Arzt? Wo ist mein Arzt? Yes. Guck mal, das erste, du musst dich erstmal untersuchen. Da haben 20.000. Ah, das ist kein Ding, Alter. Perfekt. Und das zweite, ja, Kommissar, ich brauche Verbandskasten. 3 Stück. Ah, 120.000 nur, egal. Übel geil, Alter. Ja, Kim, okay, immer wenn der schreibt, ey. Aber was ich geschaut habe, sind meine Skills. Guck, ich habe 13.474 SP, aber die kann ich nur machen. Wildheit des Tigers. Wow, weil ich den Tiger-Move nie richtig eingesetzt habe. Aber das kann ich schon. Was ist das? Gesundheitsboost. Jawohl. Yes. Jetzt habe ich maximale Gesundheit, ey. Das war eigentlich das Wichtigste. Hier, passt. Okay, ich kann es dann nicht. Boah, jetzt endlich Gesundheit full, Alter. Krass, zeig mal. Jawohl. Boah, viel Leben. Genau. Ich glaube, Ende des Spiels habe ich jetzt alles gemaxt, weil ich nicht richtig drauf geachtet habe. Aber ich werde alles beim zweiten Teil anders machen, das weiß ich. Das, was ich hier so falsch gemacht habe, mache ich alles beim zweiten, also was ich hier falsch gemacht habe, werde ich beim zweiten Teil richtig machen. Ich kann aber, in welcher Street ist das? Ja, ich gehe einfach zu Shora Street. In der Nähe von, ja, warte, eigentlich ist das hier in der Nähe vom Büro. Ja, let's go. Geil, immer noch 1 Million, ey. Ich gehe ins Büro, fett mich erstmal ausruhen, Alter, was geht? Meine Vermieterin, die ist überall, ey. Endlich, aber es ist hell eigentlich, was für Ausruhen. Ah, den Fall im Büro durch.
Yo, welcome back.
Hey there, Yagami-san.
The gang's all here, huh?
How did things go with Hattori-san? Did you learn anything useful?
Yeah, I guess.
Wenn ihr nur wüsstet, was alles rausbekommen habt.
Wait, are you saying there isn't actually anything up with 89?
That's what Hattori said, yeah.
This is the first time I'm hearing about Kido not really being involved, though. It's possible Shono's hiding the truth from even him.
Maybe. But first, one term in particular stuck with me from my chat with Hattori-san.
Which is?
Human experimentation.
Go on.
Apparently, 89 is just about ready to be tested on real human subjects.
Well, that's gross. Side effects include bloating, blindness, and death, right?
Knock it off.
Sorry. What's bothering you about that, Yagami-san?
Well, it's just... I've just been thinking... What if all these murders were secretly experimental trials for 89?
You're serious?
If Shono's the one behind all this,
What? You think this guy Shono went out, hired an assassin, and started killing people?
guess it's a bit of a stretch, huh?
Even if these people were test cases, why would Shono have to murder them? If this is a dementia drug, not some kind of chemical weapon.
No, but what if it really did have some kind of crazy side effects, though? Like, they didn't want to kill the people, but they ended up dying anyways.
It was perfectly fine when they tested it on mice, though. If it ended up killing someone, then... Wait a sec.
Yeah, wait a sec is right. We're on the same page here.
What if 89 was completely harmless to mice, but lethal when introduced into the human body?
If that was the case, they'd need to perform a ton of experiments to make sure it was fixed. Which is why they killed all those Kyorei guys.
Back it up. If they're testing a drug, wouldn't they want to use it on an actual patient? I mean, it's not like those Kyorei guys all had Alzheimer's or anything.
That's true.
Actually, it says here that they test new drugs on healthy humans as well. They're the control group to make sure the drug is safe.
Yeah, eventually. It wouldn't make any damn sense for him to start on anyone but real patients, though.
But
Just give it a rest. Try taking this seriously for once.
We are taking this seriously.
Says the dumbass kid who keeps spouting tinfoil hat shit about goddamn human experiments.
The only dumbass here is the guy who can't consider all the possible options.
Oh, is that right? Next you're gonna tell me they experimented on old man Waku too. Fucking idiots.
Hmm?
What?
That incident 3 years ago at the ADDC. The guy who died, Waku-san. Didn't he have Alzheimer's?
Hey, I think you're onto something.
Huh?
Think about it, Kaito-san. Waku-san was an Alzheimer's patient at the center. We know for a fact that Okubo didn't kill him, but they never tracked the real murderer down.
Alright, cool your fucking jets. That happened 3 years ago. 89 didn't even exist back then.
True, it was only announced last year. But all the research that went into that paper would have reached way further back.
Huh? Wait, are we really onto something?
It's hard to say for sure, but it's worth looking into at the very least.
Leute, wir sind kurz davor. Wir sind kurz davor.
I have a few more thoughts about this whole human experimentation theory. Mind if we continue?
Na.
Sure. Let's do it.
Okay, so... Let's say Shono did experiment on Waku-san. Why would he do that? They normally do a lot more to ensure a drug is safe before it enters clinical trials. What was his motive for testing it then?
Maybe he wanted to try his groundbreaking new drug on a real live human as soon as possible. If it worked, he'd have the cure. And he'd have it without dealing with all the red tape these things go through. It would have saved him years.
That's possible. I guess Shono was surrounded by dementia patients. One little test wouldn't be a big deal, and if it succeeded, his drug would save the world. If it meant curing Alzheimer's sooner, he might have been okay accepting the risk.
But instead of doing what it was meant to do, 89 had a horrible side effect. Death. The more I think about it, the more it feels like this is how it all went down.
It's starting to make sense.
But now, even though he knows the risks, he's still experimenting and using the mole to do it. I know this is all just a theory, but the pieces all seem to fit together.
Going down that path, Yagami-san, that means Okubo really was innocent, yeah? But he murdered his girlfriend right after. I mean, that's why he's on death row.
Quit it, Sugiura. We'll get to that later.
Yeah.
Sehr viele Details, ey. Es ist unglaublich, was gerade abgeht, ey. Die ganzen Puzzleteile fügen sich gerade. Was ist jetzt los? Wer will noch reden? Schon wieder. Hi, Kaito.
So, to summarize our theory so far. It all started 3 years ago when Shono accidentally killed a patient during an AD9 test. But those tests are still ongoing. That's why Hamura had all those Kyorei guys killed.
But wait, how would a guy like Shono get wrapped up with Yakuza and assassins? Your run-of-the-mill researcher wouldn't have the cash or connections for that shit.
But what if someone close to him did?
Someone Shono knows who's got Yakuza ties? The hell could that be?
Wer könnte es sein, Alter? Schon Yakuza. Mr. Kasami. Ich glaube schon Kasami irgendwie.
The Minister of Health.
Falsch.
Now he's a Kazami.
You think an active cabinet member is out hooking
Scheiße.
Shono up with Yakuza? Seriously?
I suppose the minister would have enough power. But I'm not sure he has the motive. Especially not for such a risky
Ja,
move.
Who else do
warum
we
soll
have
das ein
then?
Handlanger?
Someone who could get Hamura and Shono in touch.
Hamura und schon. Achso, von Kyo-Reklam gehe ich, Alter, ey. Ryosuke Kido direkt. Kajira.
Shigeru Kajihira, chairman of the Kajihira.
Genau, den habe ich gemeint.
I'm not so sure about that, Yagami-san.
Huh?
Think about it. The murdered Kyorei Yakuza are Kajihira's men. Besides, there's no evidence of any connection between him and Shono.
I guess you have a point there.
Hä, aber der ist doch von der ME9,
Well, we can
oder
rule
nicht?
Kajihira out. Who is Shono's go-between then?
Ryosuke Kido. Ach so, ich denke die ganze Zeit, das ist der alte Mann, der gestorben ist. Das ist doch der Direktor. Ich muss lesen,
Yusuke Kido,
richtig.
director of the ADDC.
Oh, I
Der
see what you
Glatzkopf,
mean.
Alter.
Kido would have access to ADDC funding. There's even been talk of him having ties to the Yakuza somehow, right? I think you've cracked it, Yagami-san. It had to be Kido.
I don't know if that's really true.
Why?
Think back to the '89 press conference. You remember the look on Kido's face? He was so proud, innocent even. But if he knew about all this human experiment shit, no way he'd look like that.
Kid's got a point.
Then maybe he was only told about the experiments after the conference took place. That would still make sense, right? First, Shono gets Kido to sign off on the '89 paper and publicly gives him all the credit. Thrilled about the possibilities, Kido proudly presents the research at that press conference. There's no turning back after that, even if he found out about the experiments. That's probably how Shono got Kido on his side. He then used Kido's funding and connections to bring in Hamura and the Mole. It feels like all the pieces are falling into place.
That means Kido's not actually the one in charge.
Right. Shono is behind everything.
Let's say you're right. When did Shono start using this guy? When was the mole's first murder?
Vor 3 Jahren, als Waku getötet wurde. Das weiß ich nicht, ey. Als er anfing, die Kyo-Yakuza zu töten. Aber das kann auch sein. Waku hieß der, genau, der alte Mann. Aber das ist vor 3 Jahren. Vor 6 Monaten, als er anfing, die Kyo. Ich bin zwischen die beiden irgendwie, ey. Hat Waku wirklich oder ist durch die Tabletten? Ich weiß nicht, aber ich nehme mal das
Shono
Code.
murdered a patient, Waku-san, 3 years ago. He and the mole may have started working together then.
But that was probably an accident, right? He didn't mean for Waku-san to die. In other words, he wouldn't need the Mole.
All right. Maybe it was a different time then.
Well, when was it?
Vor 6 Monaten.
Probably Hashki's death 6 months ago.
And why do you say that?
Hashki inching closer to the truth about 89 was a serious problem for Shono. But as we know, Shono was in a taxi at the time of the beating. Meaning someone else must have been responsible for Hashki's death.
The man in the black raincoat. He's the mole?
Yeah, only the best of the best assassins would have the skill to do what they did to Hashki.
Can't argue with that.
Who knows how close Hashki was to finding out about the human experimentation before he died.
Yeah, and if he had, that would have been the end of the line for Shono. Seems like a plausible motive to me.
So what, everything just makes sense? I don't know.
If you have something to say it.
I mean, this is still just a theory, right? It all sounds almost too convenient.
What do you mean?
If Shono killed Waku-san at the ADDC 3 years ago, then Okubo, the primary suspect in the case, would be totally in the clear.
Yep. Already proved that in court, remember?
But Okubo, he killed his girlfriend right after. He stabbed her over and over. Even set the place on fire. Reeked of booze, too, even though he was supposed to be dry. Defend him all you want, but the guy's a murderer. That's why the whole thing was such a big deal. Everyone realized the court made a mistake. It took the death of an innocent girl for them to realize that Okubo probably did it after all. Yet here you are, claiming the court got it right, claiming Okubo's innocent. But you just don't want to feel responsible for Emi Terasawa's death. That's it, isn't it?
Enough, Sugiura! You're way out of line, and you don't know shit!
Look, I know I get swept up in my emotions pretty easily sometimes. All the same, I'm trying to be fair here.
Are you?
So if we want to treat Yagami-san's theory like it's the truth, then we'll have to figure out whether or not Okubo is innocent. If he actually killed Waku-san.
And how are you suggesting we do that?
It's simple. We just go to Okubo and ask if he did it.
You want to talk to him face to face? A meeting with a death row inmate isn't that easy.
A lawyer like you should have no problem setting that up, right?
He can't stand me, though. From day one, Okubo insisted he was innocent, that he didn't kill Emi. But I abandoned him. Told him he'd be better off just giving up.
Fine. But that's a pretty weak excuse for not going to talk to him now. If you really want to pursue this case, you don't have a choice, Yagami-san.
Well?
Hoshino-kun,
Yes?
let's go talk to Okubo. Think you can arrange that for me?
I can try. Let me get in touch with the prison.
Thanks. I'll be at Genda's if you want to find me. Looking over the old case files.
All right.